Do you remember that feeling? That electricity in the early days? It wasn't just attraction, it was recognition. It felt like you had found the missing piece to your puzzle. He loved that independent 90s band of yours. He watched the same cult film director you did. He quoted the same lines. He loved that tiny hidden coffee shop you thought only you knew about. He had the same political opinions, the same dreams of traveling to the same places, the same secret fears. It felt like magic. It felt like destiny. You thought, for the first time in your life, finally, someone who completely understands me. And then, months or years later, the scene is different. You mention that band, and he rolls his eyes. Never really liked that depressing music. You suggest that movie, and he laughs. Such a pretentious thing, and perhaps the most devastating. You see on social media, him posting photos with his new source of supply, and there he is, at a show for that country band he always claimed to hate, wearing a cowboy hat and smiling, with the same intensity he once smiled at you. The confusion is paralyzing. Who was that person? If everything he said he loved was a lie, what was the truth? The question that eats away at you is, do narcissists have their own tastes? Do they have an identity, or are they just empty? The answer is complex, and it is the key to understanding the fundamental fraud you experienced. The short answer is, no, they do not have tastes as you understand them. What they have is something much darker, and it will surprise you. My name is Lauren Mitchell. My purpose with this channel is to show you that the problem was never you, and more importantly, that you are not alone. If this video resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. I appreciate your support. Let's dissect what you experienced. What you called connection or soulmate was not an encounter. It was a performance. It was an intelligence operation. The narcissistic individual in the beginning is a chameleon, but a chameleon with a very specific purpose: to hunt. What you lived through was the phase of manufactured synchronicity. During the love bombing, the narcissist is not presenting himself to you. He is presenting you to yourself. Think of it as an actor preparing for the role of a lifetime. In those initial conversations, you were unknowingly handing over the script. You mentioned your favorite book. The next morning, he says, "I spent all night reading that book you talked about. It's brilliant." You said your dream was to live near the beach. Suddenly, his greatest life goal is to own a house, facing the ocean. The narcissist is a master of cold reading. He observes your eyes lighting up when you talk about a passion. He mentally takes notes on your fears, your traumas, your hopes, and then he constructs a character, a false self, that is the perfect fit for all your gaps. And that's why it was so overwhelming. You didn't fall for him. You fell for your own idealized reflection, returned to you with a hypnotic intensity. He became the man or woman of your dreams because you literally told him what those dreams were. The validation you felt was the most potent drug. All your life, you wanted to be seen, to be understood in your entirety. And this person seemed to do it instantly. The feeling was not, "I like him." It was, "I need him, because he is the only one who sees me." That is not love. That is the deliberate creation of a dependency. The pain comes when the mirror shatters. The bait and switch happens when he decides the role is no longer necessary. The performance costs energy, and once he feels you are trapped, once the bond is formed, the false self is deactivated, and what emerges is shocking. The same person who loved your cooking now criticizes your seasoning. The person who found your intelligence sexy now calls you a know-it-all. What happened? He stopped acting. You keep trying to find that person from the first few weeks. You cry, you beg, you try to remind him, but you said you loved this, and he looks at you coldly, perhaps even with contempt, and says, "I changed. Can't you get over things?" What you are grieving is not the loss of a person. It is the death of a phantom that was tailor-made for you, using your own hopes as raw material. You were not in a relationship. You were in the audience of a one-man play, written and directed by him, starring a fictional version of the two of you. The confusion you feel is the grief for a meticulously constructed illusion. To understand the answer to our question, we need to stop viewing mirroring as a personality trait and start seeing it for what it truly is, an acquisition tool. The narcissist is not being himself. He is on a mission to capture supply. The narcissist operates through a false self. His true self is a fragile, underdeveloped, angry, shame-filled core that he has hidden behind a grandiose facade. But this facade needs to be customized for each audience. Think of the narcissist as a luxury car salesman. He does not have a single pitch. If a client walks in looking for family safety, the salesman will talk about airbags, stability control, and interior space. If the next client is a young person looking for speed, the salesman will talk about horsepower, acceleration, and sporty design. The salesman doesn't care about airbags or speed. He cares about closing the sale. The narcissist is a salesman of himself, and you were the client. In the early stages, he is not interested in sharing who he is. He is interested in data, mining. He asks open-ended questions and listens. He listens in a way no one has ever listened to you before. But it's not with empathy, it's with calculation. What was the worst day of your life? He notes, abandonment wound. Can use that later. What is your biggest dream? He notes, wants, stability. I'll promise that. What's your favorite band? He notes, likes nostalgia. I'll associate myself with that good memory. Mirroring is the infantry tactic of love bombing. By instantly reflecting your tastes, he achieves 3 predatory goals at once. Accelerates intimacy. He skips the normal steps of getting to know someone. Instead of months of mutual discovery, he creates a soulmate in days. This overloads your brain with oxytocin and dopamine, the same chemicals as addiction, disarms your defenses. It is almost impossible to keep your guard up around someone who appears to be your carbon copy. Your logical brain shuts down. He can't be dangerous, you think. He's just like me. Creates a contrast. He establishes a peak of perfection so high that when the devaluation begins, you will spend the rest of the relationship trying to climb back to that peak. You will blame yourself for the lost paradise without realizing that the paradise never existed. Therefore, he didn't like your music. He used your music. He used it as a master key to break down the door to your heart. Your genuine passion for something was just an entry point for him. He sees your hobbies, your loves, and your values not as parts of you, but as vulnerabilities to be exploited. That's why, when he discards you and moves on to the next victim, the mirroring starts all over again. If you were an intellectual who loved art, and the new victim is an athlete who loves mountain climbing, he will magically become an avid climber overnight. His personality is a costume, and he simply changes outfits to suit the new hunt. But why all the effort? Why create a character from scratch? Why doesn't an adult human simply have tastes? The answer lies not in what the narcissist does, but in what he is, or more precisely, what he is not. Behind the grandiose false self, behind the arrogance, the charm, and the performance, the narcissist's true self is not just fragile, it is hollow. A healthy person develops a sense of identity over a lifetime. You try things, you decide. What you like and what you don't like, you form values. You like spicy food. You prefer the silence of the mountains to the noise of the beach. You value honesty. These things form your central self. They exist regardless of who is watching. You like spicy food even when you are eating alone. The narcissist does not have this. He never developed a central self. His identity is entirely derived from external sources. He only knows who he is by the reflection he sees in the eyes of others. Without an audience, the narcissist ceases to exist. Imagine a dark room. You are a light bulb. You have your own light, your own energy. The narcissist is a mirror. In a dark room, the mirror is just a cold, empty piece of glass. It only shines when it reflects someone else's light. That's why he needs you. He needs your tastes, your passions, your vital energy. And this leads us to one of the darkest secrets of the narcissistic psyche, pathological envy. The narcissist not only lacks an identity, he actively envies the fact that you have one. He sees you genuinely excited about a project, or deeply moved by a song, or loyal to a friend. He sees that authenticity, that ability to feel and to be, and he despises it, because he cannot replicate it. He can imitate it, but he cannot feel it. Mirroring, therefore, has a second layer. The first is acquisition, Chapter 2. The second is appropriation. It is an attempt to steal your personality. By pretending to like what you like, he temporarily feels as if he possesses those qualities. He feeds off your identity, but envy is an acid that corrodes everything. The moment he gets you, the envy turns into resentment. He cannot possess your identity forever, so he must destroy it. This is where the devaluation begins. The same band he loved because you loved it, he now needs to criticize. He needs to sour your passion, call it stupid or boring. Why? So that you stop liking it. If he cannot have your light, he would rather extinguish it. That's why you felt so empty at the end of the relationship, so confused about who you were. You stopped listening to your music, seeing your friends, practicing your hobbies. This was not an accident. It was a deliberate attack on your identity. He tried to suck your tastes into his vacuum, and when he couldn't, he tried to poison them so that even you could no longer enjoy them. If this vacuum exists within him, and if he envies your ability to have an identity, does that mean he doesn't like anything? Not exactly. The narcissist does have a very specific taste, a singular, insatiable taste, but it is not a taste for things, movies, music, or people. The narcissist likes one thing: narcissistic supply. His entire personality is built around the acquisition of supply. His tastes are not based on pleasure, an internal experience, but on utility, an external reward. Let's analyze the tastes a narcissist seems to have, and you will see that they fit into two categories: status or supply. Status tastes, the public facade. The grandiose narcissist, in particular, will cultivate tastes that signal superiority. He will like the most expensive wine, not because he appreciates the oak notes, but because he can pronounce the French name and see the admiration or envy on others' faces. He will like luxury cars, not for the pleasure of driving, but for the status the symbol confers. He will like conceptual art, not because it moves him, but because it gives him the opportunity to appear deep and intellectually superior to the plebeians who do not understand it. These are not tastes. They are ornaments. They are props for the false self. He uses these tastes in the same way he uses an expensive watch, to tell the world how important he is. If, tomorrow, the status changes, and expensive wines are considered tacky, he will instantly hate them and adopt the new symbol of power. Acquisition tastes, the bait. This is the category where mirroring fits. The narcissist will like anything that gives him access to a new source of supply. If he wants to seduce a religious woman, he will suddenly become deeply spiritual, attend church, and quote scripture. If he wants to seduce an academic, he will buy thick-rimmed glasses and start reading philosophy, or more likely, only read the covers. If he wants to seduce a sports fan, he will buy season tickets. There is no conviction, there is only strategy. And that's why he seemed so perfect for you. He didn't like hiking in the mountains. He liked the fact that you liked hiking in the mountains, and that made him a perfect lure to hook you. The only constant in the narcissist's personality is hunger. The personality is fluid, adaptable, and completely disposable. It changes based on what works. The brutal truth is this: the narcissist does not have a favorite self. He does not have a favorite color, a favorite movie, a favorite song. He has a favorite tactic. He has a favorite outcome. He doesn't love anything. He just uses everything. He used your passions to trap you, and now he is using someone else's passions to trap them, and you are free to take yours back. So, who was that person you met? The most painful and most liberating answer is nobody. You were not interacting with a real person. You were interacting with a hologram, a carefully rendered projection based on the data you provided, cast upon a deep vacuum. You fell in love with an echo of your own tastes, your own passions, your own capacity to love. The narcissist is the definition of smoke and mirrors. He does not have his own tastes, because he does not have a self. The grief you feel is real, but you are not grieving him. You are grieving the possibility, the hope, the version of yourself that you saw reflected in his eyes. But the clarity this brings is your power. You no longer need to try to figure out why he changed. He didn't change. The performance ended. You no longer need to wonder how he could get over you so fast and adopt an entirely new personality. He just changed costumes for the next play. The liberation is not about mourning that phantom. It is about reclaiming the things he contaminated. That favorite movie of yours, it is still yours. That band, it is still yours. Your hobbies, your passions, your capacity to feel deeply, all of this was yours before him, and it is still yours now. He didn't steal anything. He just copied and pasted. You don't need to look for him anymore. You need to look for you. The person you lost in that dynamic was not him. It was yourself. And the good news is that she is there, waiting for you to remember who you were before his music started playing. Turn off his music. Turn up the volume on yours. You didn't lose anyone. You just stopped seeing your own. Reflection in a broken mirror. In the description of this video, you will find a link with support materials created with care to help you understand and reframe what you have lived or are currently living through. Feel free to use the comments below to share your story, vent, or even suggest a topic for the next video. Click the suggested video on the screen and continue with me. Remember, you are light. Never forget to shine.